We are on page 10 of the application guide, and this is the application package. So these instructions will help you prepare your application. There are no other hidden needs. What you see listed here on this page is what we need for your application. As Natalie mentioned, the fourth bullet point down here underneath number 1, if an item is pending, you're going to want to submit a placeholder that describes the next steps for completion with dates. So sometimes items like the authorizing resolution, perhaps the CEQA, they might not be complete at the time of the application deadline. So you just put in a placeholder that explains what your next steps are. But again, as we've already mentioned, and as I know a lot of you know, the project selection criteria, checklist item number 2, is set in stone and must be complete at the time of application. I want to address item number 3 here underneath the application package. Again, you only send in the items that are listed here in the checklist. Do not submit any other materials such as PowerPoint presentations or letters of support. If we understand, it takes a lot of work to get these letters of support, and we want you to focus on planning your project. However, if you are required by your director to get letters of support, please make sure to have them addressed to you. If they're addressed to the OGEL staff, this is going to require us to have to respond to each letter, and that slows down the entire application process. So Cedric is going to share a few more words about letters of support. Cedric?
Thank you, Noelle. The emphasis on why we're emphasizing not having letters of support, I know that's an unusual thing in the grant making world, but what we have committed to do is to base your project solely on its merits. So what we don't want is what we do want is we want you to spend your time clearly and concisely making the case. Equally, if you follow the process that we're going to be sharing with you in contacting and engaging the community in the process, the support for that project will come out through the application itself. So our commitment is that your applications are going to be fairly looked at. It will be looked at based on the merits of it. So therefore, you do not need to submit any letters of recommendation for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cedric. So here with number 5, there's a link to the online application system will be open by August. As Natalie mentioned, we are having online paperless submittals for this round of the statewide park program. So the information about how that's all going to work, plus the links for that, will be on the statewide park program webpage. Remember, our competitive project officer team looks forward to answering your questions throughout this application period, so please feel free to contact us if there's anything that comes up along the way. Okay, so now we're going to page 11, and this is the application checklist. So again, as a reminder, this is kind of your one-stop shop to organize your application, and these are all of the items that we need submitted with your application. Nothing else beyond what you see here on page 11. Items 1 through 13 are for all applications. Item 14 is for nonprofit applications only. And item 15 is related to your Conservation Corps consultation review process, which is an optional item. And I think that's everything. Again, please use the chat feature if you find that you have any questions. And now Christine is going to take over.
Great, thanks, Noelle. At this time, I'd like to draw your attention to the questions and answers document. This document is listed in the technical assistance section of the program's website. This document points out frequently asked and answered questions we've recently received about rounds 3 and 4. All of these questions are incorporated within our presentation today, but I'd like to specifically call your attention to number 9 for those of you that are looking to resubmit your round 3 application. Number 9 provides answers regarding what revisions and updates will be required when resubmitting an application from round 3. We will be going over number 9 in detail later within this webinar. Okay, so we're turning back to the application guide. We will now start to cover each application checklist item. Please turn to pages 12 and 13. And this is checklist item 1. It is the application form. The directions are on page 12. And I'd like to draw attention to the people to list on the form, and that would be the authorized representative, and that's the person that signs all of the forms in the application packet. The application contact is the day-to-day administrator who can answer detailed questions about the project. And then the grant contact, that will be the lead contact for the grant administration if it is selected for funding. Please have the authorized representative sign this form. If you have any questions about the form, please contact your competitive review project officer.